What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Fearlessnick YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my round 15 2022 AFL tips / predictions, and obviously as well as that, like we always do, going back over my round 14 tips from last week and seeing how I went. If you're going to enjoy this video, remember to like, share and subscribe. Yeah, we are on the road to 300 subscribers, and it would mean the world to me if you could please subscribe. So yeah, just hit that big red button down below and you'll be part of the ever-growing army that is the Fearlessnick army. But yeah, without any further ado from me, yeah, let's get stuck in it. So like we do every week on the channel and the Fearlessnick videos, we go over the previous round. In this case was round 14. Once again, 4 out of 6 for this week. The bye rounds, I always get 4 out of 6. I'm pretty sure every bye round I've gotten 4 out of 6. But anyways, first game of the round, we had Richmond V Carlton, and I tipped Richmond obviously, and honestly, I thought it was probably one of those biased things I've done all year. But it turned out that biased tip was actually probably one of my best tips for the entire year. Maybe a couple people saw Richmond winning this game. I don't really know. A lot of people I saw were tipping Carlton. Fair enough, Carlton were the favourites, but Richmond got the job done. That's a massive win for our season. Next game of the round, we had the Saints and the Bombers, and I think pretty much everyone, I don't think anyone would have tipped the Bombers unless you're probably the most biased. Only the biased of Essendon fans probably would have seen the Bombers winning that game. I certainly didn't, and I don't think 90% of the people watching this video did. So, yeah, that was a massive loss for St Kilda, though. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, great win for the Bombers. Huge respect after that game. Next game of the Adelaide Oval, we have Port Adelaide and Sydney. Another tip I'm really proud of. I went back, through the previous games and all that, and saw that Port Adelaide hadn't actually lost to Sydney and Adelaide, I think, for 5-6 years or something. So I went off that and tipped Port Adelaide, and that's another one I'm really proud of this week. I think a few people, I'm pretty sure Sydney were the favourites for this game, but yeah, I went against the odds and tipped Port, and it came off for me. But that could have gone either way though, that game, to be honest. Next game at Optus Stadium, a very surprising matchup here. We had obviously West Coast and Geelong. The Cats got up by only 18 points, and I was absolutely stunned and surprised for what West Coast dished up. They were finally moving the ball a little bit better, West Coast. Finally showing something that they can take out of this year. Nonetheless, yeah, the Cats, they were just the better side. And yeah, we're never going to drop that game. Next game at Giants Stadium, one of the more entertaining games of the round. I didn't watch it, but I watched the replay back. We had the Giants and the Bulldogs, traditional rivals, obviously. This is another one where I kind of screwed up on, if I'm going to be honest there. The Dogs, I tipped the Giants. The Dogs won by 20. It was quite an honourable loss, though. The Giants, Toby Green put up probably one of the best individual performances I've seen, and probably most people have seen this season. 7 goals for Toby Green, but yeah, they still couldn't get over the line. The Giants, the Dogs got a much needed 4 points, and yeah, they're back in the hunt for finals, the Dogs. And the final game of the round, probably not a very exciting one, unless you're a Gold Coast fan. Yeah, Gold Coast and Adelaide, and yeah, no problems there for Gold Coast. They secure another win in the bag. Credit to Adelaide though, they kind of took it up to them, but then again, they couldn't really kick straight, and that ultimately cost them the game. So those were my round 14 tips. Like I said, 4 out of 6. It seems to be a common theme with me and bye rounds. 4 out of 6. I'm certain I got that last week. I remember. Can't remember if I got it the week before. It might have been close to. But anyways, those were my round 14 tips. Now let's move on to the round 15 tips. Alrighties, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Round 15. So yeah, first of all, this is the end of the bye round. So finally we get a full round of footy. I'm sick of the bye rounds. They suck ultimately. But yes, anyway, first game of the round, absolute blockbuster, top of the table clash between Melbourne and Brisbane. At the MCG, the D's, or both teams obviously come off the bye. The D's probably in worse shape. They've lost 3 in a row. The Lions are actually in really good shape at the moment, although they're only on top due to percentage. They're all on the same amount of points, them and Fremantle. Oh, wow, this is actually tough. Melbourne are going to bounce back at some point, though, and I think it's going to be soon. Even, I know Max Gawn is out for this game. I think Brisbane will be at full strength unless there's like a late out or something that nobody knows about. Well, let's just say that doesn't happen. I could see Brisbane winning this game. However, they don't really play good footy at the MCG, so I'm going to tip the D's in this one. I could see the Lions winning very easily, but I'm going to say the D's by 13 points. I feel like they've got to bounce back at some point, and yeah, this would be a great start for the D's because they need a flipping win. They are seriously struggling to score at the moment. Melbourne, however, Stephen May back in could shore up their defence. They're really missing Tom McDonald. But nonetheless, I reckon the D's will get the job done here and win by 13 points. I could easily see the Lions winning, though. No discredit to them. Next game on Friday night, and I'm sick of... What is this, man? 2 Friday night games. And why do West Coast get a Friday night game? I guess Essendon is probably understandable considering their form the other night against St Kilda. But really, I don't know. Anyways, the first game of the 2 Friday night games, we've got the Bulldogs and Hawthorn. I actually reckon Hawthorn don't really get enough credit for how, they can actually play really good footy against the top ranked teams. Like, they took it up to Melbourne, they beat Brisbane, they took it up to Freo, they beat Geelong, they took it up to Carlton, they took it up to Richmond, probably should have beaten Sydney, and almost beat Collingwood. So they are a threat when they're on Hawthorn. But I feel like the Doggies last week, they've got to find some momentum, I think, at the back end of the year. And I feel like they will. They're making some improvements, the Dogs. I think Waitman and Norton were amazing against the Giants. So I'm going to tip the Doggies just because it's that marble. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn win. This is the type of game Hawthorn would win. But I'm going to tip the Dogs, I think, by 19 points. I feel like at the time the Dogs found some form, and I feel like I didn't give them enough credit last week. So I don't want to make the same mistake twice. But yeah, I'm going to tip the Dogs in that one over the Hawks, although I could easily see the Hawks winning. But anyway, next game at Optus Stadium, the second Friday night game between West Coast and Essendon. Well, both teams would be happy with their performances, particularly Essendon. That was unbelievable against the Saints last week. I did not see that coming. I don't think anyone really saw that coming. And West Coast as well. They moved the footy so much better against Geelong. They just couldn't defend. And then that's ultimately what cost them, considering you've got Hawke and Cameron to deal with. They could not defend that West Coast. I feel like if Essendon show the same type of ball movement, they will roll over West Coast. But if West Coast play the way they did against Geelong, they could actually... This is a good chance for West Coast to get a victory here, especially at Optus Stadium. But I'm going to go the safe option. I'm going to tip Essendon. I feel like they're starting to move the ball better, but they haven't yet proven they can do it 2 weeks in a row, the Bombers. They haven't won back-to-back games this year, the Bombers. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. But for now, I'm tipping Essendon 17 points. I feel like, yeah, if they just get that, if they show anything close to that sort of pressure they did against the Saints, the Bombers, they will run all over West Coast, I think, as well. We've got a lot of good games this round. And talking about good games, Carlton Freo at Marvel. This is a massive top 4 clash because Carlton win, it's all level. Freo win, they go a couple games above Carlton. And yeah, I think if Freo win this, they're locked in for top 4. I think if they're not already, and they've already shown they're capable of playing outside of Perth, the Dockers. So they will not fear the Blues in this one, even though it is at Marvel and the Blues have had the wood over Freo at that ground for a couple of years now. I could see the argument for Carlton, but I think their defence has been a little bit exposed, especially without Jacob Wiedering down there. I know they are missing a lot of players down there. the Blues. The Dockers, they only need like half a quarter to tear you apart, the Dockers, and they will do it if Carlton don't play 4 quarters. But if Carlton turn up and play their best footy, they could be on here. But I'm going to go the safe option and tip Freo. I know Carlton fans, especially Louis, not going to like that one. But I'm going to go Freo, but that's almost a 50-50. In fact, that's a 50-50 game. I'm surprised it's not 50-50 on this tipping site, honestly. But yeah, I'm going to tip the Dockers just because they've proven that they can win outside of perfect. This was Freo. Yeah, they will beat Carlton, I think. I think it'll be a good game, though. I'm going to say Freo by 9 points. But yeah, it'll be a good game. Game at the MCG. Yeah, we've got Geelong and Richmond. Now, this is a must-watch game, I reckon. Geelong didn't look at one bit convincing against the bottom of the ladder, Wet Toast. Should probably call them now. Actually, we could probably start calling them West Coast if they play that footy again. But yeah, Geelong didn't look that convincing, I'm going to be honest. And Richmond, well, we've had a great month, I think. We've knocked off Carlton. We've also knocked off Port Adelaide. Yeah, we've had a couple of good wins, I think. I've been really happy with our form as of late, and I think the way we're playing right now, we can beat Geelong, I reckon. We can if we show up, but if we don't, like we saw, last year, Geelong absolutely steamrolled us both times. And but this is obviously different year, different circumstances. It's at the MCG. That gives us a massive advantage. I'm going to be biased again and say Richmond. I have tremendous respect, though, for Geelong. They have been a quality side. They have arguably been as successful, but obviously haven't won a flag. Unlike us, we've won 3 flags. But yeah, Geelong, throughout the home and away season, have been the kings. And yeah, they could easily, if Hawkins and Cameron kick a bag of goals, they could run all over us. But yeah, let's just say that doesn't happen. I think if we get Hawkins and Cameron, we win this game. And I think if we convert on our chances, we win this game. So I'm going to tip Richmond here by, I have tremendous respect for Geelong, like I said. So I reckon it'll be close. I'm going to say Richmond by 11 points. I think it'll be really, really close. Yeah, probably could be wet weather as well. But both these teams like wet weather footy. So yeah, I reckon that'll make it a little bit interesting. So anyways, next game, Sydney v St Kilda. Wow, 90% to 10%. Yeah, the Saints were deplorable last week against the Bombers. That's right. And then Sydney, yeah, they were just as bad. Yeah, losing to Port Adelaide. That was probably a more honourable loss. But anyway, I'm going to tip Sydney in this one. I could, no, I can't really see the Saints winning, even though Jack Steele is back in. That's a massive id. I'm going to tip Sydney. I think they will be the 2 strongest side, especially at the SCG. Yeah, I reckon they'll win by 20 points or something. I think the Saints run home could kill them towards the back end of the year. Next game at Blundstone Arena, probably a pretty easy one here. Adelaide over North Melbourne. North haven't really shown anything. Yeah, they obviously had the bye last week. The Crows played all right against Gold Coast, but yeah, for me, even at Blundstone, I think the Crows should be fine in this one. Next game at the MCG. Wow, this is a massive game. We've got Collingwood up against the Giants. The Pies, the Giants didn't come off a bye last week. They played the Bulldogs. Collingwood had a bye last week, so they should be fresh, ready to go. Yeah, the Giants had an honourable loss to the Bulldogs, I think, in my opinion. You see, I feel like Collingwood could get a little bit cocky and lose this game. It is at the MCG. The Giants do not like playing there. I haven't tipped an upset. I feel like this is the game the Giants could win. I've got that feeling. So I'm going to go the Giants in an upset here, I reckon. I feel like Collingwood are the team that could get cocky. Like we saw Sydney, they beat Melbourne and they went into the bye, then lost to Port Adelaide. Like it happens. It happens to teams after the bye, and I feel like that could happen to Collingwood. But then again, they are quite a good side, so I could also see them steamrolling GWS. Although, if Toby Green gets firing, the Giants win this game, I reckon. So I'm going to tip the Giants in an upset by, I'm going to say 14 points. I think the Giants will win. They will break the MCG curse, and they will, knock over Collingwood in a bit of an upset. That will be my upset of the week. The Giants over Collingwood at the MCG. And the final game of the round, another very interesting game. Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns. Obviously, they had a great win against Sydney, keeping their season alive. It was basically win that or, won't play finals, season over pretty much. Whereas Gold Coast, they are in some amazing form. Obviously, everyone talks about them obviously knocking over Freo, Sydney, Carlton. They've also, they haven't won at Adelaide Oval for a while, Gold Coast, and I feel like Port Adelaide haven't been playing too well this year. They could, they could do it, Gold Coast, but I'm going to be safe here. I think Port Adelaide, that has upset potential, but I'm going to say Port Adelaide win just because I feel like, I think it was their third quarter against the Swans. They pulled on the goals and they really showed that firepower in that forward line is still there. Todd Marshall looks like an absolute jet. Shout out to him. But those are my round 15 tips. We got a full round. That's probably why the videos will be back to normal length now. We got Port Adelaide over Gold Coast. My upset of the week. Collingwood fans will not like this, so apologies, Collingwood fans. Giants over Collingwood. Adelaide over North. Sydney over St Kilda. Richmond over Geelong. Bit of a biased one there. Freo over Carlton. Sorry, Louis and Blues fans. Essendon over West Coast. Bulldogs over Hawthorn, and I think Melbourne will bounce back and win by 13 points over Brisbane. So those were my round 15 tips, but before we go, as always, we're going to check the Phil Snick comp now. I did actually have a look at this off camera, so I have realised we have got a couple new members. I think one new member, or maybe two. Can't remember how many was in my comp before. But anyways, this is the ladder after round 14. We got Ben P on top, as always. He's a couple tips clear at the moment, 81. He got a free this week. We got Jake L eating sunscreen. I think he might be the new member, I don't know. He's on 78, he's in second, sorry. He got 3 tips for this round. Tyson R, Magpie Army 2016. He got 3 this week, he's on 77 tips. Khan the Catters, Sam H is on 76 tips. He got 3 this round. I actually, me and Shannon, and Victor B, all got 4 this round. I'm in 5th. Shannon's in 6th. Angus has dropped to 7th after being in the top 4 last week. I think, he was at least in front of me. That's all I remember. Victor B is in 8th. Louis is in 9th. The gap, there's a bit of a gap between Angus and Victor, so Angus looks like he's safe there for now. Louis, he's got a couple tips to gain on Victor. Lincoln's not on the bottom anymore. Can you believe that? He's on 63. He's 20 in front of Adam S, who might be a new member as well. So thanks for joining the tipping, mate. I know you started a bit late, but thanks for joining it. Anyways, if you want to join it, link down below in the description, and I'll also put it in the pinned comment. So that is the ladder after 14 rounds. Like I said, link in the description and the pinned comment. So those are my round 15 tips, and that is my ladder after. So there we go, guys. Those were my round 15 tips for this upcoming round. Comment down below your tips. As always, comment down below how you went on the weekend. If you're not in my comp, the link will obviously be down below in the description and in the pinned comment, like I mentioned. So go join it now if you haven't already. Like I said, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like I said at the start of the video and the last couple of videos, we are on the road to 300 subscribers. I think we've only just passed 270 about a couple of days ago. So thank you so much for that. We are on the way, man. We are on the way to 300 subscribers, and it gets me a little bit excited because only in February we hit 200, and we're already thinking about 300. But nonetheless, hit that big red button down below to become a member of the army. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!